Into any ties between President Trump's associates and Russian officials continues to expand. For more, I want to talk with Congresswoman Jackie Speier. She's a Democrat from California. Congresswoman, thanks so much for joining us. Let me start with the fact that President Trump's longtime personal attorney, Michael Cohen, said he was asked, but he declined to provide information to the House and Senate Intelligence Committees investigating any possible Russia ties. He told CNN that the Intelligence Committee's request was a, quote, fishing expedition, and he added, quote, I declined the invitation to participate as the request was poorly phrased, overly broad, and not capable of being answered. What's your response, and what can you tell us about what your committee wants to ask him?
Well, I think that, first of all, his request, the request has been made. He's declined it, so in all likelihood there will be subpoenas issued, which he will then be compelled to respond to. And this is not a fishing expedition. This is furthering our review on whether or not associates of the Trump campaign were in coordination and or collusion with the Russians who were attempting to turn the election.
Do you have any information that suggests Michael Cohen was talking to any Russian officials during the campaign?
I'm not at liberty to say, but we certainly have been, it's been reported that he has had meetings with those who are trying to broker a deal on Ukraine and the lifting of sanctions.
A source tells CNN that Jared Kushner wanted to set up some sort of secure line between the presidential transition and the Kremlin for direct communications. Administration officials say basically having two countries communicate is a good thing. What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, he was not a person empowered to do so as part of the administration. This was something he was trying to set up in December. And the fact that he, it appears, wanted to even have the setup in the Russian embassy shows a great deal of naivete and as if something is being hidden. So I'm very troubled by that particular conversation and what was being suggested.
Do you think it's premature for the Democratic National Committee to be calling for President Trump to fire Jared Kushner, given the fact that he hasn't even given his side of the story yet to your committee, the Senate, or to the FBI, as far as we know?
I think that certainly he should be given the opportunity to tell his side of the story. I think the question that has to be asked is whether or not he should continue to have his security clearance during this time of probing.
The FBI is scrutinizing why specifically Kushner met with a Russian banker who has ties to Vladimir Putin. This happened during the presidential transition. The bank said in March that the meeting was about financial business. The White House says that Kushner met with Russian officials in lieu of the State Department on official government business. The White House press secretary today didn't really do anything to clarify. Do you have any information about why this meeting took place?
Well, why would a meeting take place with a banker from Russia that has had sanctions opposed on him? Why aren't you meeting with bankers from other European countries? The problem with all of this is that all roads lead to Russia. And the question we have to keep asking ourselves, why? Why is this fascination or this relationship with Russia so tight in the Trump administration? Why is it President Trump has never said a negative word about President Putin, but is lashing out at our closest allies in Europe, at the G7 and afterwards?
CNN's reporting that sources say that intercepted conversations during the campaign show Russians discussing having potentially derogatory information about then-candidate Trump and aides of his, perhaps derogatory information that's financial in nature. It's not clear whether the information was real or they were boasting or whether it was disinformation, but on these intercepts, the Russian officials believe they could use the information to influence President Trump, then citizen Trump. Do you know anything about this story?
Well, all I know is that the Putin playbook has been around for a long time, and it's all about getting kompromat. It's all about getting stuff on individuals to be able to use against them. And it wouldn't surprise me if they had derogatory information on the president. They were certainly trying to drum up derogatory information on Hillary Clinton and certainly through the DNC did a major dump of emails and texts about her campaign in an effort to impact the election.
Congresswoman Jackie Speier, Democrat of California, in the House Intelligence Committee, thanks so much for your time today. We appreciate it.